fun session. It's going to be a very fun session because I'm going to use some tools that speed up your production quite fast. So oh, okay. Hi, Jenny. So what I do, so look at, sorry, there are some noise out there. Okay, that's better. Quiet. So did I screen share? No, I didn't. So I'm screen sharing with you. So sometimes you just ask yourself, okay, how can I speed up my modeling using assets? So there are a lot of assets out there. So just look at Quixel Bridge. As I said, there are plenty of assets that if you use them wisely and make customize them for your production, they're going to be very useful. So here I am going to address two of your projects. So there's a lava character out there, and there is a there's a nature character. So what I'm gonna use, I hope I would be able to address some of their questions, but this could be useful for many of you. Just imagine that like they have the character ready. I just use a template from content browser, one of these like basic characters, maybe this guy here, or maybe gear, whatever you want to use. And you might so you might just say, okay, our basic modeling is ready. I want to add some like kind of, so let's start like do some planning for this character. So you might just say that so I want to like have some barks and kind of roots around his feet to kind of show that this is a creature connected to the earth, but like here gets like into lava shape, kind of lava shape, and maybe lava arms, but like then branch hands and lots of bush and flowers around the head. So that might be your planning. So let's see how we can get the using some assets there. Very, very important points. Actually, I wish I could open two Bamboo. No, I can't. So that, anyway, what I do, this is for rigging. So I make another one for you guys. Let's use this modeling. So from Bridge to Maya or Houdini, whatever it is, okay. The most important thing is to set up your rendering engine first. So what is our rendering engine? So what is rendering engine at all? So you in CGI, in your program, whatever it is, Maya or whatever. So what you see here is basically this window. This is a game engine. It's a fast render that just renders, just shows the detail, like low quality details. But then you bring lights and textures and things. It cannot render them. It cannot show them. So you need rendering engine is basically so hot, my room. So it's basically a bunch of codes, a bunch of algorithms, codes to convert 3D into beautiful images, okay? So all these fancy names you see, like Arnold, Redshift, V-Ray, Mentor Ray, blah, blah. So these are just fancy names for those algorithms. So in Maya, first, I make sure what rendering engine I'm going to use. So here you see I click on the render settings. I use, let's say, Redshift. And so because we are getting back on campus, I strongly recommend everyone to use Redshift. It's fast, it's easier to use, it's noise-free, you would love it. So I choose Redshift. So when I send anything from Reach into Maya, it automatically converts them to Redshift. So let's say we want like barks or actually these are not bad. They look a little bit. We can do modeling on them. So I don't need 8K resolution, so I just go like 2K. That's more than enough for me. I download that. So when you search for an asset, so you have to make sure what kind of asset it is. Is it a texture or shader, or it's a 3D asset? Here it's a 3D asset. It means that it's an object with textures on it. So and then there's some information there, like some size proportions. So you see here it's just kind of like close, it's big, and some information about other stuff. There are some other related versions. What is this one? This one is even better. It's smaller, so like can fit inside, but it has this big roots. What about these two? I would go with these two because they are more leg size, like, you know, human leg size, rather than the other one. Okay, so you press on the download. So it takes some time to download. Download is done, but when you want to send it to Maya, you have to click here in the settings, go to the export settings, make sure Maya is selected. So mine is usually set to Unreal Engine because I send them to Unreal Engine and use for doing visual effects. So here I just use Maya. So when you select Maya for the first time ever, it says it's not installed, the plugin. You have to click on the install, and then it says installed. Once it says installed, you're ready to go. You have to make sure your Maya is open. You click on export. It takes some time. It's not fast. Oh, that was fast. So let's get back to Maya. That was really fast. So I get my bark here. And if I press 6 on keyboard, you see the textures on it as well. Yes, it's small, but I can scale it up. And I can fit in to one of the legs. And you got a magical tool inside Maya. Actually, I'm going to turn on X-ray. You got a magical tool inside Maya. So when your object is selected, shift. But actually, let me just show you from the menu, sculpting, and choose this grab. So when you select it, hold B to make the brush larger or smaller, and hold M to make it weaker or stronger. So, or double click on the tool. So you see that the strength, I make it, so that's M basically. So you see, look at the M, this is the strength, and this is the size, or B, brush size. So, and this tool is really useful, like it's cool. I wish I had a thicker one. So you know what? My heart is with that one that had some big roots. That's gonna put me in trouble with when rigging, but that's okay. I am gonna challenge myself because that's gonna interfere with the other leg when it comes for the skinning of it, but that's okay. I'm gonna take this, maybe one more thicker one. This one, yeah, this one, you see that it's quite thick, but it lacks those beautiful roots that I like. Let's see what we can do with what we've got. So I exported the second one. So this is the second one. I'm going to turn off. So you see that it comes, this is much more nicer. Yeah, I can see that this is much nicer. What I do, I would cover off all the leg. Sculpt tool. Oh, it says the mesh has something. The mesh cannot be performed on non-manifold geometry. Oh, okay, so this is a problematic geometry, but don't panic. It's still fine. So you can right-click, select vertices. Let me turn on the X-ray. So, for example, I want to select because this is an open. Select vertices and then press B on your keyboard again, and then you've got this brush, like kind of this, like kind of area that helps you to select. This is called soft selection. So you can soft select a part of your mesh and just like do deformation on it every now and then. Click outside and assess that. So what I do, like, I might do something tricky because I don't want to spend too much time. I would duplicate this with Ctrl D and then move it back here. Maybe flip it in Word. That kind of like compensates the problems, but I would sculpt it, grab it, move it around. Oh, that blackness comes from me. That blackness is an issue. You should avoid it. It comes from me if so see that it's not that black here, but when I pressed R and just like kind of flipped it like that, that blackness comes, which is the thing issue. What's that? Normal map, not normal map, but just normal face normal. Every face has a normal or has a direction. So actually, I hope I would be able to create some sort of like kind of variation, because I don't want to get back to we have something that bulges that out. So this one of them is called inflate. See, this one is inflate. Actually, I would like to inflate some areas like here so they can cover parts of the body. Maybe inflate some area here. Cool. That's too repetitive. I'm gonna fix it, but let's inflate some stuff here and maybe some stuff here to create a bit of variation. I'm happy with that part. Let's get back to grab it, move it down, or even you can smooth it out with holding shift on the keyboard and smooth this out, or just grab and move it, or just gonna bend it or blend it. Yeah, and then hold shift and like smooth that out and paint it to make it smoother. So I'm glad with that part, but like I just have to work on this one a little bit. You see that sculpt tool doesn't work on this. That's okay. I can use vertices with yeah, with soft selection functioning. Okay, so I've got two fits. Let's grab some branches. That is nice. It's so, but it's kind of like a beached wood. This is nice too. Okay, these are kind of dead tree. These are kind of ready. Well, maybe you want a living tree, or I would like to have a tree with a moss on it, not a dead tree. Some sort of life on it. These are nice. Before choosing that, I would want to show you why redshift, setting the redshift shader was important. It's because like now you see that if I go to the redshift, if I add a dome light, which is like an overall world light, it's a skylight, and then click on the redshift render. I'm gonna save this before I go forward because things might explode. Three person. Let me mute this person. And then press on the render, and you see that it gets rendered and all the shaders and everything should work. It works. I like it. Not the body, don't forget the body, but the rest is working. Okay. Stop. So while this one is busy, I am going to show you. I think, did I crash? Sorry, everybody. I'm back. All the bad things happens when they're not supposed to. I updated my graphic card today because I installed Unreal Engine 5, and I was thinking that might not crash at all, but it did. So where was I? Give me a second. I set up myself. I'm glad everyone is still there. You are good. So can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I will carry on again. So I just added a light and clicked on the rendering, and then it crashed. So if it crashed again, no, so it won't crash. I think I was doing, I opened multiple things together, so that's why. So you see that it renders all the, oh, okay, let me just start recording. Oh, it's recording. It's going on. So basically you had the history of me crashing in the middle of your tutorial. Just skip that part. So let's select this. I'm gonna, before me going through adding other elements, it would be nice to create a nice shader in Quixel Bridge, my favorite texturing platform. I like it because it's easy and I'm lazy. So I export the geometry. By the way, let me set up my project to where it is. Set the project on desktop. My temp folder here. Set it here. Create default project workspace. All good. So I can export this. Come on. Into here, I call it body, and I close my open Quixel Mixer. So I'm using the latest versions of Quixel Bridge and Quixel Mixer. I would suggest you all do the same. So Quixel Mixer is loaded. It has another version. We'll consider that's okay. I'm not going to install that now, but I will install later. So I make a new mix. I call it Lava Shader. Okay. And you get a plane inside Mixer. You have to go here and then go to the custom model and then load your geometry. So I saved on my desktop temp folder, and that's the body. It's loaded. It's the body with a texture on it. So let's start with like the first layer. Okay, hello, this is Quixel Mixer. It's a very easy program to use. You just load your model and you just drag and drop shaders here and then paint. That's it. So this is what I'm gonna do. So if you don't know, if you don't have shaders, just go find online. However, you see that I have an Epic account. So I logged in. So if I search for lava filled This is a nice volcanic gravel ground. I want that. Maybe I found something else which was nice. You see me downloaded for you. This is lava filled gravel. Actually, that was the one that oh, it's volcanic gravel ground. Okay, let's get it. I click on download. It's downloaded. So once downloaded, you just drag and drop on here. So basically, I just drag and drop this here. And some gravel filled. So this is like gravel field added. You can change your lighting from indoor to overcast, like kind of outdoor lighting, or maybe pizza. I think overcast was fine. That is too, like kind of like it's too large for me. So here when you apply a if there's a bug, I think if I update that, I would be all right. So you have to click. I should see a layer here. If I add a solid layer on top. Okay, you know what? Give me 5 seconds to update my Quixel mixer. No, not better. It's not going to be better again. Yeah, but I'm not updating. But so if you see this issue, you just open. Save this lava shader. Save it. Let's open it again. So mixer. I will do that later. But you see that now I see the it's gone again. You made me embarrassed. Quixel mixer. That is why I update you. Oh, by the way, you see that I have different location for the MegaScan library. Do that. Even for the temp folder, I use another drive because I don't want my C drive to be cluttered. So actually, there was a student who had issues with installing programs. So it was basically the same issue. I hope this resolves the. Okay. All the bad things gonna happen today. What I can do, make use of this time. Actually, now it's over. Launch mixer. I hate you, mixer. Okay, I start a new mix. call it lava man. And I add my body there. I add a solid layer just in case with a default color underneath with an overcast lighting, which is nice. I go grab my shader, drag and drop it here. So because I downloaded that shader, it just comes into my local library. Okay. Yeah. You just saw the issue. Maybe you guys also start with this solid layer and call it base. So it would be just a base, so you know where you have started. So I was telling that when you add a material, a shader, with all the things, it's a complicated structure. It has made of albedo, which is the color or the texture of it, metalness, as it says, roughness, which is like how shiny or wet or like kind of matte it is. Displacement is the depth of these like kind of things. As you see, it's just too sharp, so I make it less displaced. Normals, it's also related to the kind of bumpiness of the surface. Occlusion, which is basically shadows in the, it kind of creates a nice fake shadow, which helps to make it look nicer. So what I do, so the part that I'm going to talk about is displacement, which helps you to change this, scaling it up or down. So I wanted to scale it down slightly, more. Yes, yeah, kind of that. This is my lava base, gonna be my lava base. So I make the albedo shader. I'm gonna add a tint on it and make it like kind of hot there. Let's assume that it's lava. I would remove some occlusion and maybe add some roughness, so it would be shinier. Roughness, contrast. Actually, there's no roughness on it. Invert. Anyway, what about metalness? Oh, instead of that, I can click on the roughness and make it, you know, kind of play around with this. Actually, what about a colored roughness? And maybe a bit of metalness on it. So this is like highly metallic. So you see that the sand has turned into a metal when you increase that. But I will go through something like this. That's fine for now. Then I drag and drop. So when I search for lava, you saw this beautiful rippled lava rocks. Or that one's also nice. Icelandic rocky ground. I grab this one. You see that I already have downloaded that, so I can drag and drop it here. It gets added on top of it and then gets mixed with it. So this is, you see that it's so strong and so thick and so large. So let's start work with it. First of all, the depths are too much. So just go to the displacement and make it less. Second of all, the placement is just like scaling it is too much, so I scale it down. Okay, that's nice. Now I want those, actually, I scale it even down more. Now I want those those red thing that I made to come out of it. So what you see is that my mixing here, the blend here. So each one of these has a height. So you can see that this one, that is opacity, but what makes a nice blending is the displacement, basically. So displacements, this would be stress. No. What if I make this more? No, that's not it's the right way of it. It's basically the height of it. So when we blend two things together, height blending, yep, height blending is checked. And also this one, height blending, is checked. So it just blends with that red. Actually, that's actually a good idea. If I go instead of red to like vibrant, flashy things. Okay. So basically this one is blended with this one is blended with that. So I start to adjust the height. So this one is just so low. This one is just, the highest height is for this. So it's just like gonna comes and just this part sips out of like kind of, okay. So that is all right. However, I could do better. I think if a smooth blend, so there is something called blend radius. Yeah, kind of as smooth as the, yeah, that is preserve details, less or more, warp wrap to underline. No, of course not. Thank you. I don't want that. Oh, blur underline. That's the one I want. Not this one. I don't want to blur this. I want to blur this. Can you do that for me? Maybe a little bit of this would be. Actually, we don't need that one. And I turn off the height blending of this because it's just not supposed to be blended. What about here? A little bit of blurring doesn't help here for me. Okay, so I can send this out into Redshift and start working on it. However, I want to show you some more stuff. That's too much. I hate it. Okay, I'm gonna go and lower down the height. And also, yeah, maybe this. I want to see some rocks around the here, around the maybe belly or back. Maybe here some rocks would be nice. So rock. Let's search for rock or rocky shader or. So these are objects, by the way. These ones that are surrounded around a sphere, they are this is nice. You see, it has some rocky forest floor. Actually, this character is also. I download that, and then I drag and drop it here. So things gonna go wrong. Don't panic. So I adjust the placement somehow. I want big rocks. or maybe a smaller one. And also I move the radius so I see rocks where I want to see on the shoulder. Yeah. Now what I do, I also adjust the displacement. What I do, so you see that this says paint a mask on this layer, and it says add Alt to black paint mask. So if I hold Alt and click, it removes all of it. However, it gives me a paintbrush that I can grab it and I can change the size. I forgot the shortcut for the size, but I can start painting the rock in the value. So my value is 0 now. Just go 1. Now you see that with one click, I get things added and replaced. And you see that within that blackness, there's a white spot. So white spot is like converting. But I would like to do a bit of merging, so I don't go fully black. So I go like somewhere like here. So some rocks here would be nice. That is a forest rock, guys. I'm sorry, but I hate it. I get back, I retrieve. Actually, I had some nice rocks somewhere sometime. Oh yeah, look at this. It's Icelandic sharp rock. This is so cool. I add that there. So big, as you say, so strong. Make it adjust everything. Yeah, so like kind of you see that is the rock that deserves to be. Do not crash. Help me. Save. Okay, no, it didn't. What I was telling. Okay, so Alt and click on here. Add the Icelandic thing on it and start painting. Yeah, this is a much nicer rocky thing around where I need it. I think around the head here. I want more, and I want to make this even like kind of more aggressive by making the displacement stronger. So I can start, click on the mask and then paint around the like kind of chest. Nice. So is that what you like and you're happy with? It's time to bake it. By baking, I don't mean like kind of making a cookie or cake. I mean like combining all the shaders and textures together and send it back to our Maya. So this is how we do it. You go to the export and you say, I want to export to the library. And you have to create a library category. So here you see I made a category called actually I make a category, new category. I call it lava for my price, or like lava man. So here all the textures that is related to that person goes to that category, to the library. And then I press export to the library. What happens? It takes some time and it goes to, let me open Maya as it thinks. So when you look at the bridge, when you look at your local and here to the surfaces, you should have a section called Lava Man. Is that me? Yes, it's me. Is it exported? Yes. It's in 3D assets. No, okay, so my bad. So I have exported the entire geo into here. It's in 3D assets, and I have added a section there. 3D. I should be able to see it. Import mixer. Oh, mixer. There it is. Sorry. Hey, it is here. So I click on it. It's uploaded on your local. So it's in mixer local. And you see me like, this is the one that I really like, but that's okay. So your geometry is there. And we make sure that it goes into Maya. Yes, it goes into Maya. And then we press plus. I want to show you how to export the geometry and also how to export the shader. So if we look at back into Maya, we get a new, where is my previous one? I'm gonna open my 3-person. I'm gonna send it to here. So 3-person is here. I go to the bridge and send it again. It's added here as a no, it isn't, or it might be. Where are you? Let's do it again. Oh, arrived. So it gets imported in this format, guys. So in this, the format of a shader called Lava Man material, as you see here. So if you open your material library, which is this little sphere, you see there is a material called Lava Man. So if you select your geometry and if you apply this material on, right click on it and apply material to selection, hopefully this should render out the same way we saw in Mixer. Let's try it. I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna close Mixer because I don't want you to die. And let's click on the redshift and do press render. It doesn't have displacement applied because I will show you why. Is this one has a displacement on it? I would say it does have a displacement applied. Okay. So if you see displacement not working, select your geometry, press Control A, go to the second tab, and there's a redshift section that says, do you want to enable the tessellation and enable the displacement? Let me show you the right way of sending it. So if I would have done the right way, you would have not noticed. So I'm gonna undo. So and show you how to send it the right way. I sent the object and I just made it complicated. So basically what you have to do is select your shader, and inside Maya you have this Megascan plugin installed. Open the plugin, and this one you don't want to import an object. Basically you want to import a shader. You say apply material to selection. This one is selected. This one is our material. I press export. This should come into Maya and apply on the object. Did it? It didn't. The reason is, so I have 3 materials now. But again, anyway, so it basically, so what it does, it applies the material on it and it turns on the enable tessellation and enable displacement. Okay. Now, if I start rendering, you're gonna see a horrendous image because the displacement might be too big. No, it's okay. It's not too big. But it was a lot better than this. So if I go to the attribute editor, if I select my geometry and click on this load shader, and you see that you have this displacement. So if I run the IPR, so just like kind of responsive, I can start scale up the displacements. Let me go 10 crazy. Yeah, it works. You see, 10, 20, 100. Okay, 10 was fine. Maybe 7. So my trick about the glow on the surface. Oh, by the way, to see it better, select your light, the light that you added. Actually, I would suggest you to start doing the lighting, even the lighting testing. So the light testing you saw me, I just added a dome light. Even if you use Arnold, you just click on the dome light, but Redshift is nicer. So add a dome light, go to the website called, it's called Polyhaven. It has all sorts of free stuff like HDRIs and textures and even models. So I go to the HDRI and grab one that can represent your story HDRI. So for example, this creature lives in a forest thing, nature thing, maybe a beautiful or maybe here. Actually, that kind of works well. So you don't need 4K, 8K, you just need 2K, that's enough. Download it. Gets downloaded. It's a EXR. Inside Maya, actually move it to your project folder. So I move this from downloads EXR into my project folder, which was on my desktop. Temp. Here is my project folder. And select your light, click on the texture, load it into there, and then select, while your light is selected, go to the environment and turn off the background. However, you can select your light while your light is selected. You just press E on your keyboard for the rotation, and you can rotate it around until you find the right angle for your light. Maybe like this. I always like to add a backlight because that helps me to see things better. So I add a this light, which is called area light. If I click on it, you see that it's no this one that says area light, and make a large area light and rotate it towards us and make it not visible, and then move it back. So here, like, just press W on your keyboard and make sure you are on object so you can easily move it back. This is too harsh, so I just set it a little bit less. However, you see that it helps me to rebuild the edges better as well. So lava thing. This is like a piece of painted. It's like a art student trying to make a lava. It's not lava. So how we do that? So what I do, go to the shader. So you see that all the things, by the way, all the things that you saw in Unreal Engine, like albedo in Quixel Mixel, like albedo and ambient occlusion and normal and kind of displacement, they all created this network. So later on we talk about this network and how to build our own one, but like you can kind of understand that how things are interconnected and working. So what I do inside that, you see that there's a part that says emission and it's free. If I click on the shader, and if I roll, if you don't see all of that, click on this so you see all of that. If I roll down to the overall part, and if there's a part that says emission, like kind of emissive material, something that emits light. So if I increase it, you see that the entire, actually, if I make like white light emission, you see that entire thing starts emitting, okay? So if I make it black, so no emission works. So this kind of gives me some idea that if I drag and drop, if I connect this albedo, do you remember what this albedo was? It was a black and red channel. So I drag and drop that to the emission, and I increase the emission, and you see that it starts to glow in those areas. A little bit more emission on those areas, but it's not. And I lower down the tint, but a lot of emission, but less tint. I would like to add a kind of like this. Still, I'm not happy. How can I make it better? What if I add a, so here you see again, this is albedo, which is my color, right here. If I add a press tab called redshift color correct, redshift correct. I add this node here. I make the connection here and connect the outcomes that goes to here. So I have this color correction just in the middle. So can I start working with things? Yes, you can start working with things and just add some contrast and hue, like kind of work with different hues. And saturation, even you can go to saturation, which was, oh, that was fun. That was interesting. And level, can go to a level. Okay, and so I can do the same. Okay, let me go to the emission again and play around with the emission. I think if I leave you to play around with these attributes, you're gonna get something. Okay, so let's carry on. Let's add something for the, I'm gonna stop this, close that. So things go white and crazy because it's not Arnold, it's Redshift. So but you're all right. You just turn on wireframe unshaded, and so things should be okay. This one is a bug because of this. So if I reconnect that, so you can keep it somewhere, but then do reconnect it here. So for your viewing while you're working, but then when you want to render, put this back on. Well, that's okay. Now you know what's the issue coming from. I can say don't show me the lights. So I carry on adding. So I don't do, I just bring something, put on the head, and then start rigging. To finish the modeling game, go home 3D assets or 3D plants, and then go to the like kind of a flowering plant? No. I want a big plant. Give me a suggestion. Ferns. Yeah, make the nature guy kiwi. Let's add some silver fern, if there's any. Oh, silver lady fern. No, there's no New Zealand. Oh, why not? I like these. Come on, silver fern. Let's see the ratio. There's no ratio. What if I go to the 3D assets and go to the nature and just select tree stuff again? No, I'm gonna do some plants this time. And I'm gonna use that fern that I said and download it. And bring it in. It's loaded and it has 3 fern things. 1, 2, 3. Actually, that would be nice. them to shapes around the head. Not bad. Okay. Now we have a relatively complicated character. Oh no, I leave it big. And I leave making I leave it to your imagination to make a better version than my quick one. So I've got a human body. So let's clean up things, guys. Always clean up stuff, not the lights, but let's group the 3-person or 3-character, and then these are lights. Let's call that body. Let's select all 3 of them, say Fern head. So you see that I used here for, so if you click for renaming, if you don't see that, if you see this, just click and go to the rename. And there's 2, there's 3. Actually, you know what? I just want to merge these 2. So I just select both of them, shift right click, combine. So they become 1. And then I hold Alt Shift D, as I was explaining last week. I call this right leg right, leg right, and goes into the body. We don't need these 2. Oh no. History, Alt Shift D. So that happened because the history was not deleted. And that one is leg left. Cool. I've got all the body parts. I've got the head, and that's ready for starting our next part of the session, which is rigging. So how I can move this like little this strange creature? How can I move it? So it's so strange, and we have no idea how to make this thing move. I'm going to show you. So actually, I have 2 things here. Actually, we've got another character here, a dog as well, which is for the other group. So you see that you guys see the people that asked me question are receiving their questions. I hope Lucy, is Lucy there? Lucy, are you there? I hope the whole process of modeling has been useful for Lucy, Brandon, and Savannah. And I hope the shader making here is useful for Dakota, Mark, and Lucas. So please let me know if you have any other questions before we move on. So sweet. I'm gonna go through the process of rigging. Let me bring my notes. Give me 5 seconds. I have to fix something. So what is everybody's there? Yes, thank you. What is rigging? Rigging is basically you add, as I have written here, you add deformers and controllers to anything. Okay, so let me actually make, so just imagine that you have a wheel here. I just want to make a cylinder here, over here, rotate it 90 degrees, holding J, press R, make it smaller, and then move it up to the this. And then someone says, okay, make a wheel rig for me. And you say, okay, I'll do that. So you just add a curve around it. So here I have a curve. If I click, you see that by default, it is like this. It creates like kind of curved things, but I can make it linear. So, so when I go to the up view, so that's my wheel. So I hold X on keyboard and click here and click there, and maybe hold X and middle click and move it and click here. So I just do quick and fast. So click some curves, click here. So I made a kind of arrow, very clumsy arrow. Here the pivot point is there. So I just say modify center pivot. So the pivot point moves there. So you just say, okay, I made a curve and I select this curve and I select my wheel. I call this wheel and say, hey, we'll I go to the rigging section and I go to the constraint and I say parent constraint. So now if I move this, it moves the wheel. But someone says, okay, can you make it rotate as you move this? Yes, that's possible too. So what you have to do is select your wheel, and in the so what you need to work on is basically this has to move the wheel rotation. So actually, I don't want to parent the rotation, so I can actually what we need is one of the rotation, which is rotation Y. I can click on it, right click and break the connection, and then say go to the edit and expression and write an expression. So this is curve 1, right? So you can go here and click on the movement of your curve 1, which is in Z direction. So curve 1 Z direction, I copy that. I go back to the wheel, and here your wheel rotation Y. Actually, let me paste the previous one. Your wheel rotation Y is equal. Guys, don't panic. These are like very basic scripts. Here says wheel rotation Y is equal to this curve translation Z, maybe 100 times more. So 1 unit of moving this is equal of 100-degree rotating this. And then semicolon, create that. You get this curve, you move it around. So you see that that might be too much. And also, I think it needs to be negative. So I go and I find that rotation Y again. I make it like 50, and I add a negative here, and I edit that. Yep, that's more. So this is also rigging. There's no bone or joint here. So it's basically, I just rigged a wheel. I created a rigging system, like ropes and shafts and things. This is a kind of like a terminology that has come from boats and things. Okay, but what about, so as you have realized, you need to delete the history of your object and freeze all the attributes first. So you see that these objects, there are some attributes on them. Or this one also, and the values are not zero. For example, here you see the values are not zero. Here the values are not zero. I select everything before start rigging, and I go to the edit, delete by type history, and I go to the edit and freeze transformations. So you see that like suddenly they get this, like everything gets frozen. So they are all zero and the scales are 1. So we are ready to do the rigging. So we need joints for rigging deforming characters. So what are joints? Joints is basically just a hierarchical point in space that has local rotation axis on it. So if I'm gonna again add that my cylinder here and make it larger. So I'm gonna assume that this is an arm. And I go to the side view. Don't do that to me. Today, my computer hates me. Yes, I am pretty sure that I'm haunted by the evil of Houdini, Master Houdini. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna show this here on this page. So you have one joint here, and then another joint, and then another joint. They have a relationship, which we call it hierarchical relationship. So this joint, number 1 moves number 2, number 2 moves number 3. So number 1 moves all of this, but number 3 is free to move on its own. So this is hierarchy, and they are just like some data in space. Things doesn't want me to teach today. Did I save that? Okay, got. Okay, we're back. So I add 3 joints here in. Let me just set up my workspace. Standard again, or classic again. Toolbox. I go to the side like a good student, press space bar. I don't do adventurous things. Okay, I turn on joint on joint X-ray. So here, go to the rigging and click on joints. So when I click, I am creating joints in a space. These are just basically points in a space that they have a direction. Local rotation axis is this direction of the joint. If you go to perspective, and I have this, so you see that like this has some rotation axis on it. Now if I select these joints and select this arm and just say, hey, do a skinning, each one of these joints will move part of the body. So when I move the body, they start to deform or move the entire body. Okay. So this is joints, but there is some other concepts that you have to get to know about. The kinematics. What is kinematics? Kinematics is the direction of moving joints. So if it is forward or if it's from inverse. Okay, here you guys have to see me actually. Let me just spotlight myself and stop screen sharing. So look at my arms. Just so here you see that I am moving my arms from the beginning, not the end. So this is the shoulder that is moving my arm. So my kinematics, the direction of my movement is from top to down, from the beginning to the end, from tip of it to the end of it. So that's called forward kinematics. But just imagine that I'm a puppet like that, like a puppeteer grabs the end of my hand and then starts moving me around. So it moves the end, not the beginning. The movement translates from the end to the beginning. So that's called inverse kinematics. Let me share my screen. That one is called inverse kinematics. So natively, all joints are FK or forward kinematics. Here you see that like these joints, for moving it around, I am moving from top and then down. So the movement happens from that. But if I add a IK joint here, IK connection here, you see that the movement starts from the end to the beginning. So that is IK and FK. Contour curves. So here you see that like kind of hidden within the object. Someone says, okay, can I add a curve like a maybe a circle here? And this circle moves the IK handle. So I add in the rigging system constraint, parent constraint. So this moves the IK handle, then the IK handle moves the skeleton. Yes. These are called, actually I have to call it control. So for example, this is hand CC, control curve. These are called control curves. Okay. And so you see that like the good thing about control curves is this. you see that like I cannot freeze the joints. If this is the joint and if I go to the modify, I want to freeze it, nothing happens. It says it's a joint. What the hell are you doing? But if I grab the control curve, I can freeze the control curve, and before creating the connection, I can modify freeze transformation. So it's 001. You see that there are some history here. I Alt Shift D, I delete the history. And then, so I call this a hand CC. And then I create this connection now, this parent connection. So, and then it starts from 0. Why it is important? Why a frozen transformation is important? Because wherever we are, you just type 0 here. And then it comes back to the rigging position, to the default position. So it's important. That's why control curves are important. Constraints. As you saw me using a constraint, which was parent constraint, but there are more constraints. So sometimes you just have like an I. Just think of this as an I that is looking at us. Okay. And I'm going to turn on the wireframe and shade it. And then say, okay, so you know what? Like, what if you create a curve like this, another circle? Move it where this one is and to the front, and then let me just rotate, make it larger, and rotate it 90 degrees, and say, okay, you know what? Then also freeze the transformation for this, freeze transformation, and delete the history and things, and say, you know what? I want this eye to look at this curve, wherever the curve goes. That is called aim constraint. So you select this. Actually, it should be the other way around. I have to select the aim and the object, go to the constraint and call aim constraint. And wherever the aim goes, the eye looks at it. Okay. And there are a lot more. So for example, you can say that, okay, so if I select this, if I select that, and then go to the scale constraint. So if I change the scale of this, the scale translates to the constraint objects. So these are constraints. These are like kind of connections between two objects that help me to create a nice rigging system. However, just imagine that you have to go through like these one by one, create joints and then curves and then constraints and things. That takes 2 months to get a one rigging done. Actually, that's a correct number. So I was a rigging artist in a company, and each character that we were working on was taking like months, like a month, or complicated characters 2 months. We don't have that luxury for production, but we only need to know and understand rigging. That now you know. But is there any solution out there that automates the process for us? Happily, yes, there are some fantastic people out there who share their knowledge with us. Miguel, another lovely friend, he created a system called mGear, Maya Gear or mGear. And you can download it. And I have downloaded that for you. And I have put it on your Teams here. So if you go to the Teams, go to the class materials and support materials, you see mGear here. Either download it from here or just go and download it from here. So once downloaded, the installation is super easy. It's basically, you just go to, so you see that it's downloaded, mGear. And you just go and unzip it. I'm zipping it again. on how can I unzip it? I just use the extract here because I have WinRAR installed, but you can unzip it with. Anyway, unzip it somehow. I use WinRAR here, so I say extract here. Actually, it would be better to extract it to a folder. So I grab and drag and drop this folder for you. So for those of you who can't unzip it, you got the folder as well. So how to install it? It's super easy. You open Maya, you keep this folder open next to you, you drag and drop install here. I already have installed it, so I don't release it. When you release it, it asks you to install it, and you just press yes, and it gets installed. And then you have to close and open, restart Maya. So once you restart Maya, you get this mGear set up here. What is mGear? mGear is a fantastic. So when you install mGear, the main interface of the mGear is this mGear shifter and guide manager. So it gives you some guide here, so you can create arms and legs and different like chains and things, and then just it builds all the rig for you. So here it has a inside shifter. So does it even make it faster for me so I don't do arms and legs? It just does everything by itself. It kind of does. If I go to the mGear and then go to the shifter, guide templates, and then create biped templates. So you will see me, if we would have some time, I will use quadruped template for this character. So here I'm gonna use a mGear shifter guide templates, biped templates. So it gives me like a biped template, which is a tiny little human. There, you see that? It's fallen there. And if you don't see it, just click on the guide and make it larger. Actually, instead of that, I will make it larger this way as it was. So it's usually it has sorry, I should wait. Okay. Biped template. Click on the guides and then scale it up. It's totally fine. Yep, click here, scale it up. So this is how I work. I turn on X-ray, so things go X-ray, and I can fit. So you have to fit this inside your skeleton. So here you see that I am gonna fit this. So you only need half of the body. So I usually also I turn off the object selection mask, so objects cannot be selected. I click here, delete one side of it, and zoom in and click here on the one of the shoulders and delete that. And click here one of the eyes and delete that. So here, first most important positioning is the pelvis. This is for the pelvis, the main joint. So I move this here. So this is where the pelvis, my pelvis is positioned. Then I grab this and I move it up for the, so this is where the hip joint is located. If you don't know where the joints are located, it's really helpful if you look at a human skeleton. muscles, basically. If there will be something that shows both. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is good. So you kind of like get an idea where the joints are. So basically understanding anatomy helps a lot for your rigging. So here I will do positioning these curves here and here. And for the legs, I would grab the fits and then so move this one or the one on top of it. I press up arrow on my keyboard and I move the one on top. Make it a bit, as you see. So here you see that this is like a very weird leg because it's wide. So I can choose and make it. Actually, I can kind of rig this like really wide and weird. So these are for the toe structure. So I can move them up here. And then that one here, that one. Maybe back, that one up, that one at the end. So for the one on the other side, we kind of like try to adjust it to fit. So that's the arm. For the shoulder, so just select this, move it up until you kind of find a nice spot that where the chest is located. Then the shoulder blade, press up arrow, kind of locate it where it must be. There's arm joints going to be here. That is, I rotate, press E, rotate it, and then this elbow needs to be down more. And for the arm, for the forearm, it rotates. Undo. Here, okay, cool. You have to go through and adjust it for all the fingers. What is local rotation axis that I was talking about is this. You know, thumb rotates from this angle, but these fingers rotate from that angle. Just pay attention to that. I'm not going to do that for all the fingers. You will spend some time to do it. For the head, so this person, this nature person has no eyes or mouth. So, but you can imagine that like even like a tongue here, there's the one for the tongue. So for your like the dog character, we will use like kind of a upper, you know, mouth and lower mouth. So I just select the eyes and delete them and delete this one. Delete these ones. So you get a nice movement from neck. If you don't know what it is, it's your channel box says it's neck. And then this is like another neck, and this is your tip of the head. Okay, so once you done like one side, select it, and then go to your guide manager and then duplicate symmetry. It just duplicates and makes another one on the other side. Here I duplicate symmetry, but this one needs a bit of adjustment again, because that leg is not the same as the other one, so it's different. So it has different kind of formats. And yeah, so once all done, so these are UI for the face. So we don't have any face, so I delete that. This is the UI for a spine. So I move it next to the spine. Actually, here is the UI for the arm, right? So So I'm going to move both down here, and then arm, move them like to the side. That's for the arm right, that's for the arm left. This is the UI for the leg, so I move it. So actually select both of them. Move. So these are gonna be, so what is a UI? It's a user interface. So each one of these legs and arms will have more like interesting attributes on them that helps us animate. So these UIs will hold those attributes on them. Okay, so you are ready. So select your guide. Actually, you can do some more adjustments. Go to the shifters, guide settings, and click on the settings. And maybe call it, like I'm gonna call it, put a name, 3-person rig, or, and then make sure that you have the rig tab added. This is a biped character, so a biped tab is added. You can add the control list and also visibility if you like, but we already select the guide root folder and build from selection. It does some magic for you. Takes a while, does a lot of calculations, works for a month for you for free, and then you're done. So you've got your rig. So you can hide your guides. Control H. I don't need it. Actually, I hide my model. So I want to show you what you got here. So you see, you get like a full-fledged rig. So this one leg is much bigger than the other, which we will get there. So these legs, they have this big this box in the middle, which is an IK handle that you can move the leg around. These legs are not functioning well. You see, it doesn't bend like a human. I'm gonna fix it. So you have to start moving things around. So you get so here it's like a chicken leg. We're gonna fix it. This is the entire body, like, you know, you get the body movement, you get the hip movement, like, and then like kind of head rotation and things. So you see that it creates all the rigs for you, and then the reason that I didn't delete the rig is this, because the guys, there was an issue here which we noticed, because when I was positioned, so I just want to delete the whole entire rig and I bring the guides again. So when I was positioning the joints, I should have paid attention that this leg needs a bit of bending here. So this one should come here. I press down arrow, not down arrow, select this, press up arrow and move that back, and do the same thing here, move it up, forward, and then select up, no, undo, and then move that back again. So this bending kind of defines the direction of the bending, like what you saw on the elbows. It defines the direction of the bending. So I want to introduce you something very interesting, like Emily and Anya and Samantha and who was this person, and Jackie can ask, okay, I've got a character with 2 heads. Can I like have another head added? Yes. Or here someone says like these leaves would move like a tail. They like kind of. So can we add something? Here you can say yes. You can select one, like the root that you want to add, or actually I want to select this. I want to add some chain-like behavior here. So I go to the mGear shifter guide manager, and you see the magic is basically here. You can customize your rig. So I add a chain spring here. and double click on it. Maybe 3 is enough. Which direction? X direction. Actually, X is red and it's in this direction. So yes, I want that. So I created one and I call it like kind of leaf. Leaf or leaves. Maybe A. Then that I just want to like kind of position it, and it's on right. It's not on left. It's on right. Actually, it's on left of the character, right of me. So when you adjust the left, you can tell that it's you can kind of duplicate symmetry. That one another important thing is the host. So basically, you need a controller. You see that a controller? I just double click on it. Need a controller here next to the head and call it leaves UI. And so for this tail, if you click on the settings, which is leaves A, the controller would be that one. So if I select that one and click on this, you see that leaves UI left 0. Actually, it's not left. So this one is center. So I just do it again. So it's leaves UI center root is the UI for that. So for the leaves, I just do one of or two of the leaves, like maybe. So for the entire leaf section, we might need just only 6 or 7. So I just do one this side, one the other side. So you just get an idea. So I duplicate similar to this, so we get like can't symmetry that central. Oh, it's not central. You idiot. It's left. Oh, okay. Oh, that's why. This one is central. I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna click outside while nothing is selected. Then double click on controller. So it's the controller drops here in the middle. And then move it to where it's supposed to be. You see it's here now. And so the reason that my issue was that this was selected when I added the controller. Nothing should be selected. And I call this leaves UI. So, and then this one will have leaves UI. No, leaves UI. Yes, leaves UI as the root, but that's entirely separate object. Now I can select this and duplicate symmetry, and it works. Actually, I can let's be a little bit more creative. I duplicate this and create one here for the leaves on the back. And I duplicate this and make one for the leaves in the front, kind of like this. Okay, so let's make a rig out of. Okay, what is that guide? Oh, okay. Is entirely separate. Okay, there's an issue here, so I'm gonna fix it. I select. Well, I'm gonna assign. What if I assign all of these? Go to the settings and assign the host to the spine. So spine for this, the host for that one and that one. and that one is a spine. I click on the settings, spine. Oh, spine. Oh, this is looking at the spine. This looks at spine. These settings look at the spine. These settings look at spine. We only need somewhere to look at. So settings, right. Settings, right. Settings, all right. Things, all right. Okay, cool. Take the guide, build it. I'm gonna finish soon. Probably we will rig the quadruped next week. So if we end up like, so you see that now if I hide the tree character and also guides, you see that the foot now moves on the right direction, not a chicken leg. And also, if I select a spine UI, which is too small, you can press Ctrl A or just select it, right click, Ctrl vertices, drag and just scale it up. Like what you can do for these two. I select all of these and right click and go to the Ctrl vertices. Ctrl vertices, make them larger. So if I select spine, you see that on spine you get the chain spring intensity. So if I select it, set it to 1 and maybe like lower down the values on here to just like 2 points. So when this character moves, you see that the leaves would do an interactive movements around it. Okay. How can I, if this go wrong, just select the host. Now you understand what's the meaning of a host. A host, actually, I would select and move this out a slightly bit, maybe to the front. The host is what holds the attribute on it. So this one, the attribute is 0. Okay. So let's bring the tree character, and you see some of these. So you see that the mask is answering. Some of these are inside the body. You have to just bring them out, but not by moving it, because you're gonna move the rig. You just have to select them, click outside, control curves, and start. Actually, it's good to hide joints. Go and hide joints. Select these and just like make them larger. So this one is larger actually. Forearm is fine. I should go fix the fingers. Maybe like these ones are actually these ones are too tiny. I bring out of the body. Oh, legs, look at the legs. See, they are completely inside the body. So you only need to do one side and then go to the mGear rig bits and then go to the mirror control shape and then click on the mirror. So it mirrors the selection. So I fix this, I mirror the selection. So it just mirrors it to the other side. So you carry on and do this for the entire part that is needed to be. So you have to right click on an empty space, control curve. and just select the curve. So for example, here I'm going to fix for neck. Okay. You don't need to see joints. I usually like to animate without it, but I just bring it for you to see the skinning process. The skinning process for this character is going to be complicated. So I do, for the dog, for example, going to be very easy. You just select the entire mesh and just do a skinning. For this, I will do part by part skinning. I select the body. Actually, let's assume that this body has nothing, has no extra thing. So it's just like a character. And I'm going to turn off X-ray, so only turn on X-ray joints, so you can see the joints inside the body. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to click on this sets group, and inside that, these are a bunch of groups that this autorig has generated. So you go to the deformers, the part that needs to deform, and you press down key arrow on your keyboard, down key arrow, or just click and select all the joints that needs to be rigged. So you see, I have selected all. However, I think I have to deselect the leaves. I hold Control to deselect them. Why they're not? Okay, so they are deselected. They just doesn't show that to me. Is there any leaves left? Actually, there is 1, 2, 3. It's 12. So it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 12. So they are unselected. Then hold Shift, select the body, go to the skinning, and then go to the bind skin. Here, let me reset everything. By default, it's on here. So, but you just say, I just want selected joints. And the good method is geodesic voxeling, and leave the rest as is. Actually, you can go with a higher resolution, like maybe 5200. That's enough. And bind the skin. We wait a little bit. And voila. So the skinning is ready. Dance for me a little bit. Move around. And arm. So the main issue starts to be under the armpit. Armpit is the human's fault. So see that the issue? So there's a quick fix for it, and it is the magical. Oh, by the way, you see that all of these control curves are frozen. So whatever I do, I can just go back 0. So I bring it up, select the mesh, go to the deform, and add a delta mesh on it. So delta mesh, add on it and increase the iteration. So I click on it, middle click outside, or just add numbers here. So wow, that is a nice delta mesh processing. So now you can see that like I've got this beautiful like kind of curvature on the side. And what about the elbows? This is also another part that needs to be taken care of. I think we added too much delta mesh, but that's okay. Can I decrease delta mesh on the surface? Yeah, you see that on the elbow, like the elbow joint is there and delta mesh is just doing too much on it. What about legs? Grab one of this and move things around. Everything is doing all right. Okay, so this part is done. Okay, so I just want to show you a magical thing, and that is mGear, and that is synoptic. And here, when you want to start animating soon, this is your magical place to start animating. You can flip the pose of the selected part. You can reset all the, so you see that that part is selected. So I'm gonna actually, if I move this here, flip, or mirror the pose, or reset everything, or add keyframes and like scrap any the parts that are hidden and just you cannot see them. Maybe neck here or maybe head here and do some head. Oh, by the way, so let's do some head rotation. Okay, this is here. This is where I want to show you how to fix things. So let's select the head or maybe neck here. And then, oh yeah, that's some good rotation here. But what I would like, when I click on the head, this should be able to rotate the entire head, not this silly thing. So how to fix this? You select your mesh, you right click, you just go to this paint skin weight tool, and you just go and find the, first of all, make sure you lock all of them. So just select all of them and press lock here so they are locked. And then you go and find the head. An easy way to ease is right click on the head joints and select influence. Oh, you see, that's the head. Then unlock it. Then unlock the ones that is around it. So shoulder is not around the head. It basically just have to unlock neck, all the neck, and maybe spine as well. So then you grab a high value like 1 and then start paint here. So what this white means, it means, you know what, this joint needs to move all of this. But what gray means like a little bit of it. If it's light gray, just very little. It's dark means nothing. So head joint should not move any shoulder or any feet. So if you see like a hand is moving a feet, then that is not okay. So maybe a little bit of a smoothing here around, and voila. So you are done. If I just select the head now, which is this top part, and you see now nicely the whole entire head moves. Actually, I could fix the under the chin better, but I leave it to you. Okay, so the body is rigged, is rigged and skinned. And let's move on, do the ferns. So bring all of them. So what I do, the only parts that these ferns should be rigged to are, if I open this list, are, I hold Control and select all of them, all the leaves joints. And also I select the head. So you see that neck head joint, the tip, the top one. Now I go skin, bind skin, and go to the setting. I hope that geodesic works fine. So let's click bind the skin and wait. That's going to take longer because these are not like kind of closed shapes. They are some complicated shapes. That's gonna, I wish I would have put the resolution lower. Can I cancel that? Now we have to wait. Oh, things are happening. Done. Okay, cool. Please. Computing geodesic distances. Okay, done. Let's test it. So the first test is basically just grab the head and move it around. So it moves everything. That's what we wanted. But what about these little funny things? You remember that the attributes was on a spine. I select the spine and then I go to the spring intensity, add it to 1. And then let's move the entire body. That is beautiful, isn't it? Just imagine that if I had some more up there, I just added some random things on there. That's too soft, so I go and make the stiffness high and the damping high, like around 8, 0.8. Now you see that it's just like they move like the right amount. Sweet. I'm gonna rig the other parts too. Guys, again, this is like a really complicated character. And believe me, rigging this within just an hour or two that I'm doing was impossible just 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It was just a nightmare. Now you've got all these beautiful tools available for you. So for this big thing, I can say show me nothing and then show me only polygons and then show me only joints, and then I select this joint and then this joint, hold shift and then this joint, then this joint. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to go leg end joint and then leg this joint. So I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So I just go through the chain until I select all the joints that are related to this piece. Select the piece. Skinning, bind skin. Okay, I don't make that mistake again. I lower down the resolution, maybe so low, so it just happens so quick and fast. Bind skin. Done. Okay, so if I bring show controllers or nerve curves, controllers, yes. So this box, which is the I key, you see that it's hidden inside. First of all, I just want to make sure that it's out. So you see that some of these are so big and unnecessarily big. So you have to go and fix them one, like, I don't see why we don't need one by one. No joints, object selected. Oh, come on. Control curve. Control vertices. Anyway, I'll just select this one. Control vertices. I should say show all except joints, so I can see the control vertices. So I'm gonna select this, select that, make them smaller. So you see that I have to make these smaller. They are so cluttered. And this one actually, which is the main one, if I X-ray, that one is the main one. This basically should be big. Okay, so let's select them that and just move it and see how it works. Yes. You might say this bending up there, I think, is not right. Size this this one is not right. You don't want the bending happens. easy to fix. Go and bring your joints. Right click, paint a skin weight tool. You grab that one, select influence. So this should not influence this. So go say replace with 0 value and say don't touch this. I want this to be rigid and kind of not moving at all. No, I have to spend some time, paint it out, and even that one, don't touch it. So I just do a crude job here, guys, but you get the idea. And even this one, maybe don't touch it. Actually, maybe you should touch this one. So that one would be 1. Back there. This one not. Replace value 0. This one not. Okay, so you see, I didn't do a good job, but you get the idea. So here you see that it's a sharp thing, kind of moves, which is cool, pretty cool. Same thing for the other leg. This section grabs anything on the right leg. So it starts from the beginning to the here. Up here, select your mesh, skin, bind the skin, and you get a nice formation here. I have rigged a very complicated character. I've done the shading, skinning, texturing, and even modeling in such a short time. So we're going to go through. So we talked about using bridge. We talked about using mixer, Quixel mixer. We talked about applying the textures in Redshift. We talked about rigging. This is a very, very, very important session. I would like everybody to watch it in detail, even the parts that I've just crashed. Wait there and contemplate. So I stop and I ask you to share your rough cuts. And we start with who? So I'm going to stop recording.